Hi everyone, welcome back to Leeton. So I was hoping to get outside today and do a bit in the garden, but the weather is pants. It was nice and sunny this morning while I was doing some paperwork and that, and then as soon as I finished it started to get wet and horrible and a bit windy, and so we're going to have a different plan today. I think what we're going to do is sort out the little conservatory thing that we've got. So I've got a bit more space in there, I can get some more stuff sown and just get it a bit better organised. So that's the plan. So as I've mentioned before, this area, this room, it's just a little lean-to conservatory. But it's very handy and it gets really warm when it's sunny. So what I'm thinking is we need to have a really good tidy up, and then at the end there I'm going to put an old door off a shed across from the windowsill to the worktop, maybe prop it up on a couple of bricks at this end, and that's going to give me like a big wide shelf that I can put trays of plants on and propagators and things like that. So that's looking a lot more tidy now. That gate, that door worked really well across there, perfect. So that's going to give me plenty of space to put some more trays out, and I can use it for like potting things on as well on here, just till it warms up outside. So I did check it for slugs as well, because it's been laying outside on some bricks, and I thought maybe some slugs in there, and I don't. That's the last thing I want, obviously. All my seedlings on there, and then there's a slug underneath that comes crawling out one night and eats them all. So that's that. So I've got this compost. I'm not certain I'm going to have enough for what I intend to do. In fact, I'm not going to have enough. So I think we're going to have a quick trip to get some compost from somewhere. And then when I get back, we'll start making some seedling mix and get some more stuff sown. So I would have gone to Wilko's, because they do 50 litres for £4.50. But where I live, there's 2 Wilko shops, and neither of them you can park near. And yeah, I just thought it'd be better to park outside. So we'll see what the big orange shop has got. That's where I am now. Topsoil, 20 litre compost, 50 litres, £7. That'll be one of those, I think. Okay, so I'm back. So the first thing I want to do is make up some compost and vermiculite mix, just to sow these seeds in. And I'm probably going to use all of this bag. So what I'm going to do is tear this bag, cut this bag down so that I can open it up and use it to actually do the mixing in an effort to try and not get compost absolutely everywhere. So vermiculite, if you're not aware what vermiculite actually is, it is a form of expanded rock. It comes in various size bags, from tiny little bags that you'll spend a fortune on at the garden centre to quite big bags like this. This one I bought online, I think it was about 12 quid, something like that. And it is literally an expanded rock, and it's quite spongy to the touch. And all it's for is it just allows some air into the compost. It aids with drainage, aids with retaining a little bit of moisture, and certainly for things like lettuce and that don't like their roots to be wet, it can help. So what I'm going to do is put some compost over here. This compost is really wet. This has sat in the greenhouse nearly all, well, since last sort of end of the summer. So I'm going to pull out any big bits of wood that are still left in it, put them in that bucket. They can go on the compost, and then we shall get some vermiculite. Now I don't have a specific ratio. Some people stick to the same formula and they'll do 50-50 compost, 50% vermiculite. It's a piece of plastic, look at that. That has come in the compost, and that looks like the screw lid off a tube of glue or something. I mean, this is shop bought compost. It shouldn't be happening, and it does make you wonder what we're buying. So yeah, as far as the mix of compost and vermiculite goes, I just do what looks right. If it looks and feels nice, then that'll do. Got to say, I'm loving this little bench area. It's fantastic. I'm in the warm. It's really good. Right. So I'm going to use these large module trays because what I want to do is sow some broad beans. The broad beans are hardy. Once I've sown these later on, I'm going to put them out in the greenhouse, an unheated greenhouse. So what I'm going to do is about half fill ish these trays, modules, just squash it down a little bit, nothing major. That's one. Now with broad beans, it is said that you can find out if the seeds are good by putting them in water and leaving them for 5 or 10 minutes, and if the seeds sink, then they're good, and if they float, then they're bad. And if I can get into this packet, what we'll do, I can't, get some scissors. So these are variety Andalusia Claudia. I'm going to go, how many, I've got 2, 4, 6, 12, 18. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 15, and a few more. So straight away you can see that there's 2 floating. So they're probably no good, but we're going to leave that for a few minutes. And while they're deciding whether they're good or bad, I'm going to put some of this compost mix in one of these trays, which I bought from Wilco's last week. There we go. And I thought these were really good. You've got 40 pots in the tray, and if you look at them, it's like a module tray, but without all the problems of squeezing the rubbish plastic that falls to bits and they only last a season or 2 seasons, etc. These you actually get the little pots, and I thought they were quite good. And it was about £6 for a tray, and I thought, well, if that lasts me 3 or 4 seasons, if I'm careful with it, and even after the tray is probably broken, I've still got the pots, and I thought that was quite good. So I bought a couple of these, and in these what I'm going to do is sow Mangetout, which is in the pea family. It's also a very hardy crop. So again, once these are sown, I'm just going to put them out in the greenhouse, unheated greenhouse, and we'll see what happens. Obviously if the weather's going to drop really cold, I might bring them in for the night or a couple of nights, but we'll see what happens. If there's a problem with them germinating, then I'll bring them in to germinate them, but I think that'll be perfectly fine. So what I'm probably going to do to start with, I'm probably going to sow just a couple of rows of Mangetout. Now we used to grow peas and had good success growing peas, no problem. But the problem with peas is you've got all the the time to shell them, and you've got all the waste as well. You're growing a lot of plant that you don't actually normally eat. I mean, you can eat the pods, there's no problem with eating them, but most people don't. That said, the pods could go on the compost heap. So, but we start to grow Mangetout because we don't have that time issue, the processing as such. And you still get the pea taste, the pea flavour, and all the goodness that's in them. So that's what we decided to do, and been doing that for a few years now. Not here, we've only grown vegetables here 1 year, and if you go back on our videos you'll see the Mangetout that we grew last year. In fact, I've got a bit more of that, so I'll do 3 rows. Maybe I didn't need to go and get more compost. I think I've probably got enough, but it will get used. So I'm not being particularly careful about this, just putting it in, pushing it down a little bit. And there we go. Okay. So this I'm going to put to one side now. Spilling it everywhere. I can live there till the next potting's on or whatever. Right. So, tell you what, we'll give the broad beans a little bit longer. There's still only 2 floating, but we'll give it a little bit longer. And we'll sow the peas. So, or the Mangetout. So, Mangetout. So these are the ones that we were sowing last year. Backer variety, and they were very nice. And what I'm going to do, just dip some holes, and I'm going, how deep am I going there? Probably 1.5 centimetres, 2 centimetres. Like I said the other day in the video, as a rule of thumb, the bigger the seed, the deeper I plant it. But I don't get too hung up about it, to be honest. The reality is, in the wild, a pea would fall to the ground and start growing. So I don't think we have to be too concerned. Right, just check them. If any are soft or they look rotten or mouldy, then just don't sow them. There we go, and all I'm going to do, just push the compost back over. That's that. So all they need now is a label. Mangetout, backer, and it's the 25th, I think, today. And I'll put that in there. And then I know everything this side of that label is Mangetout. Okay, so that's that done. I'm not going to water them because that compost is quite damp, and I'll check them in a few days in the greenhouse. So that's that sorted. So we're saying, actually, it's kind of half floating, that one. So that one is no good. You can go on the compost, and if I can get that one out, there we go. We're assuming that one's no good, so I should just drain this water off. And all I'm going to do is just lay a seed in each module. I'm not bothered which way up it goes. The plant will decide which way is up or down. Again, think about one of these growing in the wild and a seed falls to the ground. It would just grow. nobody would come along and put it the right way up or not. So I've got a couple left there. Shall we go, we'll put 2 in this one and we'll put 2 in that one. Okay. Just knock out. So all I want is just enough to cover those now. And we'll just cover these up. So I suppose these are getting planted about 2 centimetres deep, maybe a bit less. Again, not going to water them. That soil, the compost, is pretty damp. And there we go. And then I've got one of these. These are really handy, these big plastic trays. Just so that if you've got several modules or whatever of the same crop, it just means you can carry the whole lot around with you when you go to plant them out. Just makes life a bit easier. So we shall label that up. Broad bean, I can't remember the variety now, Andalusia, Claudia, 25th, 1st, 23. I always write the date when I sowed stuff because it just means that in a few weeks' time, if nothing's happened, I can go, well, yeah, something should be coming up by now. So there we go. So there we have broad bean, and Mangetout 2 sown, ready to go out in the greenhouse. And like I say, if they don't germinate, I'll bring them in just to give them a bit of a helping hand. But it's definitely warmed up here today. Definitely warmed up. The last few nights we've had quite a heavy frost, but today it is noticeably warmer outside. Thanks everybody for watching. Hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and click the bell icon as well, and then click notifications so that you don't miss any more updates. We've got lots of other stuff coming up in the next few weeks, including some sort of building work projects, all manner of stuff that's coming up this summer as we develop the plot. So please subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.